episode of Roaring Tiger's Garage. I'm Steven, one of your hosts for today.
And I'm Ryan. And this is my wife's car. This is a 2006 SLK55 AMG. We're going to be changing the oil, the air filters, the cabin air filter, and the oil filter. And we're going to be using Royal Purple 0W40 in today's video.
So let's get to it.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is change the oil. And something we like to do is remove this oil filler cap. This will allow the oil to drain a lot faster. And then we're going to take a 12mm Allen and we're going to loosen up our oil filter housing, okay? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is remove this plastic panel so we can let the oil out. And there are 6 8mm bolts that need to come off. So we're going to get started. So the next thing we're going to do is remove this second plastic panel. This gives us access to the rear drain plug. We have access now to the front drain plug. It's right here. But we want access to the rear drain plug. So there's 4 additional 8mm bolts that need to come off. Got both plastic panels off. We need to remove this rear drain plug. It's a 13mm bolt, and there is a copper crush ring in here. We always replace that copper crush ring. So we're going to go ahead and remove this drain plug and let the oil start draining out. I'll try to do this without making a mess. Okay, so now we're single dripping. So we're going to go ahead and put the drain plug in with our new crush ring. Just put it in hand tight, and then we're going to come back with the torque wrench and set it for 25 foot-pounds. That's what this spec is. And then we're going to go ahead and open up the front drain plug and let the rest of the oil out. Okay, this is the front drain plug. We're going to let this one out, let the remaining oil come out. Same thing, 13mm drain plug, and there's another copper crush ring on here that we always replace. Hey, look at that, like a pro, man. I don't know where the crush ring went, but okay. Okay, we're down to single dripping. We're going to go ahead and put this 13mm bolt back in with a new copper crush ring. Okay, we have the drain plugs in below. We need to remove this oil filter. We're going to show you how to do that right now. You want to make sure you've prepped so you don't make a mess. And we're going to take this thing apart right now. Okay, now that we have the oil filter out of the housing in this bucket, we're going to go ahead and pull it out. I'm going to show you how to disassemble it because it is 5 parts and we want to get this right. Of course, we have the oil filter. Then we have the 4 seal rings, okay? Easiest thing to do is going to be to slide this off first, put it in your bucket, and then you're going to want a small flathead screwdriver, and you're going to work off the seals one by one, okay? Some of these are tighter than others. Now, one thing you want to do is kind of oil these up. You never want to put them on dry. They tend to seal better when they're full of oil, and they're more pliable. Because the grooves are actually big enough, it will let the seal sit in there. You want to make sure you find the right groove. I don't know if you can see, but it's on the edge here, and it is bigger than the other ones. And you'll know it's in. See? But the first time I did this, it was a little intimidating because these grooves are actually big enough it will let that seal sit in there. So after you do that, go ahead and slide this on. And did you hear that click? Once you hear it pop into place, it's ready to go back on. Now that we have properly installed all of the seal rings and the new oil filter, we're going to go ahead and reinstall this. Just thread it by hand as far as you can. Then we're going to use our 12mm Allen seat the seal. We've got this hand tight. We're going to go ahead and torque this down to 19 foot-pounds. That's printed right here on top of the cap. 19's not a whole lot, so need to put oil in the car. We're going to use Royal Purple 0W40. Now this car, the manual says it takes 9 quarts, but we're going to put 8 in, then we're going to check it, and then we'll top it off. The oil change is done. We're going to change the air filters now. To get to them, we need to remove a couple panels. I'll show you how to do that. You kind of want to lift this up and back. And then there's some rubber grommets that you have to release here. Then everything just kind of comes up. Okay, show you. And that's how you remove this piece. And check it out. So the air filters are in here. There's some torque. There's 4 Torx bits that hold each one of them. There's 2 air filters. One here, one here. Okay, so we need to change the air filters, and each housing has 4 T25 bolts. Pull those out. Okay, so once you can get your hand in here, there's a little tab right here. Push it down, and then this will slide out. Okay, and then you can kind of work this down a little bit. And be gentle. And what we're going for is the filter box. The filter box is back there. Here. There's 2 tabs. You want to push this tab. Push it. There we go. See how I pushed it? And then there's another tab over here. You want to pull it towards you. Once you do that, you've loosened the box. There we go. Like that. So this one you pull, that one you push, and then the housing comes down. Go. Okay, so once you release those 2 tabs, there's one here, and there's one here, and one here. This falls out, okay? And there's grooves, there's actually grooves in here that it sits in. But the most important thing is these arrows. You want to make sure you have the direction correct. All right, so let's go ahead. Replace it with our new one. You want to buy the Mercedes brand. It's Mon filter. It's a true charcoal. They're gonna last a lot longer than the cheaper aftermarkets. Yeah, just kind of work it. So at this point, we have installed the new filter. You almost have to put your head in this position right here to guide it up in there. So we have it in there, and then you slide the tabs. Once it's in properly, they'll slide easily. And this is what it should look like. It should be sealed. It's very easy to put it in, and there'll be a gap on the other side. If you don't actually stick your head up in here, it's hard to line it up correctly. Once you position this panel in place, you're gonna have to connect your 12-volt cigarette lighter back in place. It actually connects from the bottom, not the top. Just like that, okay? And then gently guide it back. Okay, and then there's this one as well. You'll just slide it in place.
Once you've completed the service, you want to be able to reset your service light. So you do that by putting the key in. You put it to key position 1, right there. Then you're going to come over here, push this reset button here 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to give us this voltage right here. Once we have that voltage up there, that UB 11.9, we're going to push this down arrow here. I'm going to come back here, and it's going to give us that service menu right there. Now to scroll through that menu, you got to go over to these plus and minus buttons here, okay, and get down to confirmation, and then we're going to say yes by pushing the menu button here. All right, here we go. So now we say full service, cancel full service, cancel single. So we're going to say that all the service is done. We don't want any messages, so we're going to push full service, okay, which again is that same confirmation button here, okay. All right, service confirmed. All right. Well, that's all it's done now. So all we got to do is reset the car, and we are good to go.
There you have it, folks. That's how you do an oil change, change the cabin air filter, and change your engine air filters on an SLK55 AMG.
If you like what you see here on Roaring Tiger's Garage, please tell your friends and neighbors, get them to like us on Facebook, and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you next time in the cage. So long from Roaring Tiger's Garage.